More information on the Planned Parenthood shooter has been shared with the media in heavily redacted reports, and I thought it would be important to give that information to you guys. Now, the shooter was Robert Louis Deere, and he went to a Planned Parenthood clinic and proceeded to shoot and kill individuals simply because he is against the reproductive rights of women. Deere is accused of killing 3 people, a police officer and 2 civilians, and faces 179 felony charges. Thankfully, this man is in custody. He was never referred to as a terrorist except for on our show, and the reason why he's a terrorist fits any definition, regardless of what you think or whether you think you have to have some sort of religious doctrine behind your actions to be considered a terrorist. So let me give you the details on that and why I think he is one. So Deere came to the clinic with 8 guns. He brought 4 SKS rifles with him inside the building and left 2 handguns, a shotgun, and a rifle inside his truck. Now, what's interesting is he didn't plan on just shooting people. He planned on blowing or bombing the facility up. He brought multiple propane tanks to the clinic and told authorities that he believed they would explode if he shot them. Deere could be seen setting up propane tanks near vehicles outside the Planned Parenthood building. He told authorities he shot the propane tanks during the standoff, but they didn't explode. So let's get into some of the religious elements of this and, what inspired him to do what he did. Deere told one of the detectives interviewing him that his dream was that he had died, or that when he died, he would be met at the gates of heaven by aborted fetuses. They would then thank Deere for his actions, saying that he saved the lives of other unborn fetuses. During his interview with police, Deere called President Barack Obama the Antichrist and cited Bible verses that he claimed backed up that statement. He recited Bible quotes numerous times throughout the interview. So this man identifies as a Christian. Is this man even close to representing the majority of Christians? No. Is this man a terrorist? Absolutely. If someone was a Muslim inspired by their religion and they carried out a horrific act of violence like this, we would immediately call them a terrorist, right? Because it is fueled by a religious doctrine. Now, all sorts of crazy people do crazy things that are fueled by their religious doctrine. That doesn't mean that they're representatives of everyone within their community or everyone who follows the same religious doctrine. As we've said ad nauseum on the show, there are different interpretations of the same religious text, okay? You can criticize that text, that's completely fine, but antagonizing the people that follow that religious doctrine does nothing to solve whatever problems we have in society, right? I'm glad that they got this guy. I'm glad that he's going to suffer the consequences. He's crazy. And when the Center for Medical Progress released those stupid, heavily edited so-called sting videos, well, they inspired lunatics like this man to carry out terrible acts of violence.
And hopefully they will go to prison for what they've done. And if you think that the Constitution and the freedom of speech protects these assholes at the Center for Medical Progress, you are wrong. Because it's slander and it incites hate.
Well, I think the core of the story for me was that things that are not weapons can still be dangerous. Text. I'm a Christian. My father is an Episcopal priest. My faith is very important to me.
You must be a terrorist.
You know what I mean?
That's the thing. Doctrine. When are we going to talk about extreme Christian terrorism in this country?
Because it exists.
When are we going to talk about it?
Well, I'm just saying that, look at it. It exists. This guy took the same book that I grew up reading and then warped it into something that it is not. It's the same thing that gets thrown at me for being a gay Christian. It happens all over. And it's the same thing with the Center for Medical Progress. They put out a video. You don't think, it's not dangerous. It's not a bomb. But look at what it did. It does incite violence, and the Bible can incite violence depending on whatever crazy is reading it. And I think that, to me, was what is at the core of this. It's not guns, it's not bombs. Those are also dangerous, but words and videos and images affect people. And look at what can happen. 3 people died.
I'm in no way, shape, or ever in favor of censorship. I just want to put that out there just to be on the safe side, unless it's a situation like this one that is clearly slanderous to influence people to do something terrible.
So you're talking about the Center for Medical Progress inciting violence against these clinics because they were spreading this misinformation regarding Planned Parenthood allegedly profiting off the sale of fetal tissue. We already know, but based on the dozens of statewide investigations that happened, that they are not profiting off the sale of fetal tissue. This was all a smear campaign by this right-wing organization. And unfortunately, when you push a smear campaign like that, again, there are some lunatics who are fueled by their religious doctrine, who are mentally unstable, who will take that information and carry out these acts of violence.
And idiots like Carly Fiorina talking about it as if it's fact on a national scale in a highly televised public fucking debate.
Yes, that's
and
exactly
that
right.
only further makes this worse.